Welcome back, everyone. Well, look at this elaborate set we have here. Look at these two lovely guests. And the reason is that, well, let me start by saying to you, if you're a true artist, let's just say you don't follow the path that's just narrow and is expected and is obvious. If you're truly an artist, you make your own way. Well, we found out that right here in our community is a direct descendant of a world-renowned artist, Jan Balet. And so joining me today is his son, Peter Balet, and Peter's wife, Marie Balet. Welcome. Very nice to have you here.
It's very nice to be here.
Let me just tell our audience a bit about your father. He, world-renowned artist, like many artists, had a brilliant career in New York City, working for ad agencies and the illustration side of the business, responsible for covers for Saturday Evening Post, many illustrations in Vogue magazine and Mademoiselle, even 17 magazine throughout his career, in the 40s and 50s primarily. In the 60s, he decided, I don't think I want to do this anymore, not the narrow path that most people follow, moves to Europe, moves back to Germany from where he's from, and begins a very illustrious career as a painter. So what Peter and Marie are doing is they are really trying to make his legacy known to the people in our community. So that's quite a intro for you. I'm going to start with you, Marie. Why are you doing this?
We think that Jan's art is very special. It deserves a niche in history, and we want people to see his art. It's his pictures are very whimsy, satirical, and very precise work that he's been doing. And I just think that people need to see this.
How about you, Peter? What do you think?
Well, my father and I had a distant relationship over the years, and all of a sudden this was in my lap. So I'm trying to put it out there for the people to see. The people in Europe have enjoyed it, and the people that remember my father, which would have to be in their 90s, would have to remember him for his work in New York.
You know, I was looking through some of the, he's obviously a published artist, but I was looking through some of the collection books, the art collection books, you know, like the tabletop books, and he's in there with the likes of Picasso and Henri Rousseau. And, you know, we're talking about that level of work. I want to read you a quote that the author of one of these books said about his work. It said, he utilizes his masterful technique in describing tragically moving, grotesquely poetic experiences of everyday life. And we have samples of his work here. I think we're going to try to get some close-up shots later. And you can see there's a lot of whimsy in his work. And also he's a very, very accomplished artist. You were saying that he painted mostly in oils and acrylics.
That's right.
Right? And if you notice some of his works that were done in acrylic, that's a real talent to be able to get the kind of fine line that he demonstrates in his art with acrylics, which you have to move fairly quickly because they dry very quickly also as you're painting. You're going to have a lecture pretty soon, right?
Yes.
Where is that lecture?
I'm presenting a PowerPoint lecture at Crandall Library on March 14th at 6:30 p.m. It's going to be about Jan's life and his art. So you will be able to hear about his colorful life as he was married 4 times. And many side trips, and lived the high life in New York City when he was a commercial artist. And we will show you parts of some of his paintings. We also have 2 books that have just been reprinted: Amos in the Moon, a children's book, and The 5 Rolatinis, right here in front of us.
Oh, these here?
Yes.
Okay, got it. Sure.
And Amos in the Moon came out in December. It was published by Ammo Books, and we will have that available at the lecture. The second book, The 5 Rolatinis, will be available from Ammo Books in April. And I don't think I'll have those available at the time, but we will have the Amos in the Moon. So.
You know, Peter, tell us a story about your dad. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but obviously, like a lot of artists, a very colorful life.
He had the one story that sticks with me pretty regular is he had his gravestone. He died at 95, but he had his gravestone in the hallway of his house for years. And somebody said to him, "Are you in a hurry?" He says, "No, but I've been married many times, and this stone and I are going to be together for a long time, and I want to make sure we're compatible."
I don't know if you heard it at home, but in the control room, the guys just really broke up over that one. Well, you know, the life of an artist, you know, during that time period, the late 30s, the 40s, and the 50s, obviously coming out of the Depression and World War II and whatever, it was very typical in New York City for a lot of artists to have patrons. And he was at that caliber. He had patrons. He knew a lot of his contemporaries of the day, whether they were in music. One of his illustrations won a Grammy Award. I mean, we could go on and on and on about the value of this artist to our culture. So please, now the lecture is March 14, which is a Monday, at Crandall Library, right in downtown Glens Falls. And both Peter and Marie will be there with a presentation about his life, and especially an in-depth look at the broad range of his work, from illustrations in the commercial world to design for books and for album covers, and also his personal art. Well, boy, thank you so much for coming in. It's such a pleasure to meet both of you.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, you're quite welcome. Again, March 14, Monday, Crandall Library, The Work and Life of Jan Balet. I'll be there.
Thank you.
Yeah. To see this interview again, you can head to our website, looktvonline.com.